All right, Elaine here. I am going to do a reading for the week ahead. This is for all signs. I do break it down from cardinal, fixed signs, and mutable. So please watch whichever you feel called to for your sun, rising, or moon, or all of them. Venus is coming to mind too. So up to you, whatever you feel called, or all of them. I do try to keep the video short, but I tend to talk. So let's get into, so this is for all signs. This is the energy that I feel like we're all going to be working with for this week of the 13th to the 19th. We do have a full moon on the 13th, so that full moon is in Cancer. So please, if you are inclined, watch the full moon in Cancer video that I will be posting. And let's just jump into the energy of this week. So for the activation cards, I have compassion, which is 15. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our hearts and into the world. And then we have crown chakra. The frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. So the immediate thing that popped out to me is there are, sorry, I like to use the tip of the cards to point. So here there looks to be a crown kind of, and then here, and it is lit and moving from crown to like heart space. That's how I'm going to interpret it. And I feel like this might be a matter of head versus heart this week. So, really run things through your heart space this week, and don't allow emotions to run wild, and thoughts is kind of the idea that I'm getting. And to really, think before you act is coming up, and just like really being compassionate with yourself and others, I think, is the other thing I want to say. And not jumping to like a conclusion is what I'm getting at. I did pull a lesson card, and this is denial. I acknowledge the fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. And this is really, um, I'm being pulled back to the compassion card. It's being conscious of your fears and triggers, and not allowing them to allow you to react without thought or feeling, and really running that through and being compassionate with yourself, because for reacting or with others. And so I really feel like, or I don't know, this just popped in my head. There's something that you haven't dealt with either. And, it's really allowing that to finally being processed and brought through versus um, avoiding it. So then we have the earthworm, and immediately in the card, I saw the earthworm, and I am going to say this is selenite, like the clearing crystal. I don't have any right now near me, otherwise I would put it on camera. But it makes me feel like clearing energy. And this card is for earthworm, and so this is clarity and rumination. And that even goes back to like that thought, or like pausing before reacting and really taking the time. But this card talks about basically the earthworm's job, or what it does in its life cycle, is break down organic matter. So if there is an issue, it's about making it smaller. Most of the time, the denial, card is calling me back to it. We don't deal with the issue because we think it's so large that we don't want to, or we don't know how to tackle it. We don't know how to go about bringing on a solution. And this card is about breaking it down to make it smaller. The earth doesn't take an apple that's fallen from a tree and this is like, well, I don't know what to do with it. It starts breaking down and in different stages and becoming back, or being transmuted, being decomposed, and being back, bringing I cannot talk, being taken back into the earth. And so this is really about breaking down the card, and then breaking down the problem. And then there's also the fact that earthworms, they move through the soil and they mix and they allow air, as they tunnel through the earth. They're creating tunnels, and air can come through and get to the roots. The roots, roots need air too, and they need that soil to be moved around, because otherwise, the plant is stuck, which in a metaphor, you are stuck if you're not allowing things to be broken down and moved through you. You get stuck in that energy as well. So I think this is just a call to be aware of that. And that was our medicine card that I pulled for today. And so from here, I will start pulling out the cardinal signs. And I will break down each one, and you can go to the timestamp below. So for cardinal signs, we have, sorry, I should hold it up. The self-acceptance card. We have the 555 change card. And then we have the cleanse card. These cards are very glossy, so it's always hard to see. They get a glare on them. Okay, so let's pull some cards as for our cardinal signs as to what is a problem this week for us, for the 13th to the 19th. I got some cards flipped over. 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take all of these. So, possible issues. I might need more room. Let's see. Can we see? Okay, I'll adjust like that. Okay, so these are a lot of cards. I usually don't take this, but we'll see what we're working with. Let me see if I can get a solution card. That popped out for solutions. And then we have this. Okay. So I'll shuffle a little more and see if there's any more solution cards that are coming out. Okay. For self-acceptance, I am being drawn to that card, and I'm being drawn to pretty much the cup cards. It's kind of interesting because we have 3 cup cards, we have 2 pentacles, and we have 2 wands. And so to me, what I'm feeling like is for our cardinal signs, we're getting kind of lost in these emotions. Like, so pages are oh, sorry, this is a Page of Cups. So this is usually like an offer, a message, and we have the Seven of Cups. So that is like illusions, and I want to say illusions and confusions. And we have the Ten of Cups, and I feel like this is what we're trying to achieve, but things are, you know, they are good, but you want them to be better. And you want to change them. And so I feel like there's a little bit of some stuckness, and or either like you don't quite know how to change. And I'm being drawn back to the change card. And I feel like it's trusting the process, which, they're that saying, it's easy to say but not easy to do. And I feel like there's been steps and that we're starting to create to move, but when things start to slide into place and they're not sliding into place as quickly, you kind of just want to be like, okay, well, that's not working, let me jump ahead and do something else. And it's kind of like a reminder of not to do that, to continue to trudge forward, because I feel like we're not trusting in like this King of Pentacles of being in sitting in your power and knowing that you have everything that you need in order to create what you're trying to create or co-create. And I'm actually being drawn back to the earthworm. You're not giving it room to actually come to fruition because you're so hovering over it and trying to control it and make sure that it actually becomes, versus releasing and allowing it to transform, um, and metamorphosis into something else. I definitely feel like there is a passion and a celebration and things that you want to do, but it's kind of like on a pause right now, which can be causing frustration. Um, going back to the cleanse card, and I'm feeling the cleanse card in my throat and in my sacral, so throat communications. They're both, and so the throat is a blue color, but I'm also feeling it in my sacral, and it's just feeling kind of like a waiting period, and it doesn't feel comfortable, and there feels like a lot of emotions there of like, is it, will it, could it actually happen, and trusting that. I'm just going to take a quick breath and see if there's anything else they want to say about these possible obstacles that we got here, because there's kind of a lot. And I feel like, so they're bringing me back to the Knight of Wands, and I feel like there is a little bit of burnout around that, uh, that I want to get something started. But they're bringing me back to the cleanse, and I am, they're making me think of also Aries being retrograde right now. So, they're, look at your chart and see if there's an area, if you know your birth chart. But right now, Aries, it was in Leo and it's moving into Cancer, and it kind of, it's not happy there. It's not able to initiate. Um, I'm saying Aries, sorry, Mars in Cancer. And it's not able to initiate where you want to, or spark as easily as it would normally do. And so just be aware of that. Um, that if you are struggling at the moment, to really, they're bringing me back to the self-acceptance card, is accepting where you're at and knowing that this is where you're at right now, but you are going to move forward and move into that change. It's just, there's kind of like a um pacing issue, or like, or it's just not quite the time right now. So don't fight and struggle so much when it's not something that you can control at the moment. Just keep taking your steps in the direction that you want, and it will click into place. It just may not happen at the exact moment like I want to celebrate tomorrow. It is happening. It's just going to be slow burn. Slow is the word that is keeps coming to me. Okay, so let's look at our possible solutions, which they're kind of wedged over here, so I'll move them closer so we can see. So we got the King of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands and the Chariot card and the Star card. So this kind of goes into what I was saying. It's really like trusting. Oh, you guys can't see that at all. So these solution cards, it's really trusting, and it's funny because the Chariot is the Cancer card. I feel like there's really trusting that the work that you have put into whatever you're trying to create, whatever you're trying to do, is there. You do have the strength and the foundations, and it is, you know, I feel like, so the Ten of Wands is also a burden, a card of burdens and like being overwhelmed. There is something there as to just trusting in that, and carrying it still. And I know that is not always good, because we all say like let it go, whatever. But it makes me feel like, taking what you need and moving forward. I usually don't read that card like that. This is like, let's let go of burdens, drop the shit that you don't need. But I feel like this is understanding that, yes, you do have what it takes. You have the skill set. You have everything. You got a lot of shit. Um, and taking it where you need it to go, and kind of letting go what you don't need. The Chariot card, I said that it is the Cancer card. It is about moving. It is about alignment. It is about going forward and making those moves. And we have the Star card, which is the Aquarius card. So maybe even, I believe the signs change on the 19th or 20th. I'll have to double check that. I'll put it in the notes. But maybe there is something with that Aquarius, the sun moving into Aquarius from Capricorn, or maybe it is even, the sun card, the star card also is represented, or represents like hope. And, you've been holding on to this, and maybe it's finally starting to come, and you can see it. It's not quite time to celebrate yet, but it is coming, and it is being drawn to you, just like you are drawn to it. But there is a little bit of more, or yeah, I feel like a little bit more to do until you actually get it, which I know, I hate hearing that, like, especially if I've been working hard and trying to move forward, and it is like, oh, I can see it, and then it's just a little further out of my reach. It is okay, you're getting there. And there's also the renewal with the Star card. And so maybe even though it's just out of reach, you start to feel like, it is possible. I see it. I know it's there. and I can just dig a little deeper and move forward. Okay, so I'm gonna set these there. I know the camera has a bad glare from, okay. All right, so I'm just gonna look at these real quick and see. The cleanse card is calling me back. Maybe you need to cleanse your space, cleanse your energy. What do you, is that it? There also may be something with diet there. I don't know. Because I felt it in my throat and feeling like, consuming certain things. So, I would just, you'll know if I'm talking to you, you'll know. And whatever comes to mind is something that I know I myself can always eat a little healthier. And you know I do like a lived in area, so sometimes I get a little messy. So that is what is coming up, but I think that is it. So thank you, Cardinal Signs. And if there's any other signs you want to check out, just please click below. Otherwise, have a great week. Thank you very much, and I will start the mutable signs. Just going to shuffle real quick. All right. So our lovely mutable signs, we have take a step back. We have mindfulness. I'm sorry. I'm saying mutable, but I mean fixed signs. Sorry. This is fixed signs. I'm just struggling today. All right. So our beautiful fixed signs, we have take a step back. We have mindfulness and anger. Seeing those cards already make me think to take your time on whatever you're doing. So let's pull some possible obstacles for this week, and then we'll pull some solutions. So obstacles for this week for our fixed signs. We have the Two of Pentacles, we have the Six of Cups, and we have the Judgment card. We got a lot of red and green. Well, that's the only green color. All right. And then our final Five of Pentacles. And then I'll pull some solution cards. King of Wands wants to come out. All right, and then we got some other cards. Okay, so I definitely want to say there is something about balance and sorry. Just trying to adjust it to get a better angle. Okay. Okay, so we have two twos. So we have the Two of Pentacles and we have the Two of Cups. So Two of Pentacles is in our possible obstacles, and the Two of Cups is in our possible solutions. And to me, I'm actually feeling like this will be a balance of the two. The Two of Pentacles is, usually of earthly means, and the Two of Cups is usually emotional. We also have the mindfulness card, so I am being drawn to those and putting them together, and I'm seeing a triangle, and it just feels like um, being mindful of those two and balancing them out, and uh, not trying to jump to conclusions, or I'm also being drawn to the take a step back, really think things through before you start taking your actions. um, it's interesting because all of those cards seem to have an eye in them, and it is like, I feel like either something about seeing and being aware of it, or getting a different perspective. And for some reason, I'm thinking of the hangman there, which the hangman is about um, a perspective change, pausing, and taking your time. So let's break down these possible issues. So we have the Two of Cups, we have the Six of Cups, both like a balance card. And we, the Six of Cups is nostalgia, um, thinking fondly in the past, but are we getting stuck in the past? Are those now, these past ideals, more idealistic versus, have, are are they actually what it was, or do you need to have a perspective change and see it in a different way? Are you, um for some reason, idolizing is coming to mind, and thinking, also kind of thinking like, this is how it's been done for so long, and this is how I should continue to do it, and something around balancing and being renewed about that. There is also the Five of Pentacles, and I feel like the Five of Pentacles, it's always like kind of like a self punishment. It is scarcity mindset. It is being stuck. It is feeling like everything I've done, it's not working out. And it's what, I'm getting drawn back to that, take a step back, um, and looking at it in a different way. And I actually feel like this Judgment card can't be released because it is sandwiched between, these ideals, that old ideals that you had, this imbalance, and these new ideas that you have, that you can't move forward, you can't do what you think you can do. The Denial card is making me come back to it, and it's like, what are you not facing, what are you not doing? The Earthworm for clarity is coming back. What how can you break this problem down to move forward and not get stuck, and not feel like, oh, I just can't move forward because I don't know where to start? um and taking that step back and looking at that. Okay, so we have the Eight of Wands, which is the action card. We have the King of Wands. And so we got a lot of wands for these fixed signs. We have the Nine of Wands, and we have the Two of Cups, and then we have the Strength card. So these are our possible solutions. So the Eight of Wands is all action, all movement, and I even want to say communication. It is, you know, this is letting people know what you need and taking actions on it. That's how I'm feeling this card. I usually don't read it like this, but it's like getting the idea and moving on it and really knowing where you need to go. And maybe you don't know where to go right now, so you need to take that step back and give yourself that time, and maybe that is time for this week. We have the King of Wands again. It did come up in the Cardinal Signs. This is for fixed signs. So King of Wands, that leadership, that foundations, everything that you've done to get where you're at, it didn't happen overnight, and it feels like whatever issue that you are not dealing with didn't happen overnight either. So break it down, move forward on it. If it is something that you need to be resilient or create boundaries on, do it. It's not, and I also understand saying it and reading the cards is easier. Uh, but these are things that you can slowly move upon and like, I just keep feeling like the baby steps of creating, of going, of starting. And I feel like the start is the hardest part, because a lot of times we're tired, we make excuses, we say that we can't start or things aren't perfect yet. um but when is it going to be perfect? And the Two of Cups, that's an emotional balance and partnership. And it's kind of like, when are you going to balance it out? The day that you start, then it starts to balance out. And if we have the six, sorry, the Strength card, which is a six. So again, balance, strength and courage when you don't feel like you have it, or moving forward on something that you're not sure of. It is okay. We all kind of do it on a daily basis, and it is moving forward on these things. Now, what I'm going to set these down and see if there's anything else. I am feeling, so we mostly have, we have two pentacles, two cups, and mostly we got wands. So I definitely feel like, and I'm being drawn to the anger card and I'm trying to understand it. And I want to say, like, it's transmuting that anger into actions versus having that anger and allowing it to explode and just detonate, and having no decision, no goal. But this is like taking those feelings and creating versus destroying. And I don't know why that came up, but if it's a message for you, hopefully you understand it. uh, I'm just going to look at the cards one more time. And definitely the take a step back is, I'm being drawn to it with the compassion. And I just want to reiterate, taking that step back, looking at things a little differently, and moving forward on it from that perspective versus that initial spark of anger and explosion type. Being mindful, crown chakra. Okay, I think that is it for our fixed signs, and I will actually move to the mutable signs this time. So I'm just going to collect all of these. Thank you. Okay. And thank you guys for watching. All right, I'm moving on to the mutable signs. I'm just shuffling a little bit to make my deck easier. All right, mutable signs. We have the Listen Deeply card. I did pull this card for the full moon. And then we have the Rebellion card. Very beautiful colors. 510. And then we have the Sweetness card. That is about heart chakra, which the diamond is in there. And I'm already going to kind of say that this is following your heart. The Rebellion card makes me think not following the mind, but following the heart. So let's look at our possible obstacles this week for our mutable signs. All right, so our obstacles this week. And our solutions. Well, that King of Wands wants to come up for everyone. All right. So, King of Wands for everyone has come up. So, there is a lot of trusting in yourself, trusting your own leadership, trusting your own abilities and the foundations that you created. Okay. And that is in our possible solution cards. Okay. So, I am feeling like there is the listening deeply card or listen deeply card. And I feel like the earthworm is calling me again. And I feel maybe there's an issue that you need to have broken down. Maybe even I'm being pulled to the compassion card. There is something weighing on your heart that you need to break down a little bit. And I feel like there is a real listening to yourself and your intuition, and kind of not getting stuck. And there's no swords cards, so it's. I keep feeling like this is connected to mind and falling heart, especially with the sweetness card. It is about heart, and pink is another color for the heart space. Um, and it's kind of following that and not, you know, with the Ten of Pentacles, I actually feel like this is, there's a family here. It is a fulfillment. It is a 10. It is reaching that potential. But I feel like there is something along the lines of not, this is not actually, you want more. There's something else that you want more of. And there is something else that you need to walk away from. And that is kind of the pull that I am getting. It's kind of interesting because there's something about family and expansion, but also something that you don't want and need to walk away to or leave in order to do the expanding that you want. And so with the Tower card kind of gets a bad rap. It is about chaos. It is about quick change, but there is also like that breaking down. And I'm going back to the earthworm. Things need to be broken down in order to be transmuted, in order to be transformed, in order to become something new. And holding on to something just because you're afraid of that new thing is coming to mind, and not wanting to not having those changes. And I feel like this, I'm being drawn back to the rebellion, and to me that is like our minds usually create, I shouldn't say usually, our minds create the cage that holds our fears, that holds us back. The fears come up, and then we get that gilded cage put around us because, we can't go past those fears, um, because it's scary, and we talk ourselves out of it. And I feel like there is something along those lines, especially with the moon. Um, the moon is a Pisces card, but it can also be regarding the full moon. Maybe something that is coming up for this full moon that you feel that you need to release. If anything came up, if you watched the full moon video, something that you need to let go of, and really walk away or change is coming up. And, change is hard. Change is not easy. And the baby steps keeps coming up for everyone of, just getting started. Just do it. It's hard, but you can do it. We do a lot of hard things every day, and we don't even think about it. But the things that we're afraid of, they become harder because we don't allow it to, our minds can't allow us to move past. So we have a Knight of Cups. That is an emotional movement. Um, Cups, cups are emotions, knights are actions and movement. And I feel like this is actually you listening to what you need and filling into those emotions and taking actions based off of those. We have the Ace of Wands. We had an ace for the full moon. This is a spark, a beginning, a new passion, a new pursuit is coming to mind, though that's not what I would usually say for an Ace of Wands, but a new, I just feel like a new thought, a new drive to move forward on something. And it might have to do with the partner. It does not, this is the Lovers card. It does not have to do with lovers. It can be duality, a balance, or partnerships. So maybe even just trusting in a partnership or a collaboration that is coming up, and trusting that it will work out, and you'll be able to move forward on it. We have the King of Wands. This King of Wands came up for everyone. So I definitely feel like the solution for this week is to trust yourself. Trust your leadership. Trust where you're going. Trust that spirit is nudging you in the direction that you need. And being empowered and emboldened and moving forward, and not being held back. And I feel like there will be some slow movement. It does not have to be fast, but some movement and is needed, and trust that these moves that you are making are correct. Um, so very interesting that the King of Wands came up for everyone this week. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the cards. and see the family in the 10 of Pentacles is having me come back to it, and I'm just going to sit with it and feel into it. Okay, so I'm really feeling like, and maybe this is for someone specific, this is a creating something family oriented and really pulling it into existence. And I feel like there is a bit of a struggle. I'm really drawn to this flower, and I'm also being drawn to the denial card because they're both kind of like have that floral pattern. Um, and I just feel like maybe it hasn't happened yet, and that's the denial. And so I'll just read this again. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. And I feel like there is something about being conscious about whatever you're trying to do, and knowing that these shifts that you're making, you may be afraid and it may not be happening as quickly as you want, but um, it is happening. You don't see the earthworm too. You don't see the earthworms breaking down the soil and making room for roots to grow, and you don't see everything that is happening below, or happening, but it is happening. So I think that there's a message for someone that is being drawn to me. Uh, um, that it is whatever you think is not happening, or that the steps that you are taking in order to make this happen, it is happening. It just probably not happening at the timing that you want it to happen, but it is happening. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick breath and feel and see if I am drawn to anything else. I am drawn to the sweetness card, and I feel like that is more for yourself. Give yourself that self care. Be a little sweet to yourself. Compassionate to yourself. Okay, I feel complete with this reading, and I thank everyone, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Thank you. Take care. Bye.